You are standing at the gas pump, the handle clicks, and you realize you have just spent a significant portion of your weekly budget on premium fuel for a car that was designed back when the internet was barely a concept. Driving a BMW E36 as a daily driver in today's world is a mix of pure mechanical joy and mild financial anxiety, especially when we start talking about fuel economy and real-world MPG. Let's be real, you do not buy an E36 because you want to save the planet or your wallet. You buy it because you want that raw, connected driving experience that modern cars just cannot replicate. But since you are driving it every day, the reality of fuel consumption hits hard. The inline-six engines, specifically the M50 and M52 variants found in the 325i and 328i, are absolute masterpieces of engineering, but they are thirsty beasts by modern standards. When you're sitting in stop-and-go traffic listening to that smooth idle, you're also burning fuel at a rate that makes you envy the hybrid next to you. In the city, if you're driving a manual transmission model and you're gentle with the throttle, keeping the revs low and shifting early, you might see numbers hovering around the 17 or 18 miles per gallon mark. However, let's be honest, nobody drives an E36 like a grandmother going to church. You bought this car for the sound, for the way the torque pulls you out of a corner. So when you actually drive it the way it begs to be driven, pushing that tachometer towards the red line, your city mileage is going to plummet down to 14 or 15 miles per gallon. It is a painful truth. The automatic transmissions from this era are even worse, sucking up power and fuel with their sluggish torque converters, dropping your efficiency even lower. Now, highway driving is a slightly different story. The aerodynamics of the E36 are actually quite decent for a boxy 90s design. Once you get it up to cruising speed, locking it into fifth gear, the consumption settles down. On a long road trip, maintaining a steady 65 or 70 miles per hour, you can realistically achieve 24 to 26 miles per gallon. I've even seen some owners claim 28 on a flat downhill stretch with a tailwind, but do not count on that as your average. One major factor you have to consider is the condition of your car. We're talking about vehicles that are over 25 years old. If your oxygen sensors are original, if your mass airflow sensor is dirty, or if you have those notorious vacuum leaks that plague every old BMW, your fuel economy will suffer drastically. A bad O2 sensor alone can drop your mileage by 10 to 15% because the engine computer, the ECU, goes into a safety mode and dumps extra fuel into the cylinders to prevent running lean. Then there's the Vanos system. If your Vanos seals are worn out, which they almost certainly are if they haven't been replaced, you're losing low-end torque. This means you're pressing the gas pedal harder to get the car moving, wasting more fuel in the process. We also need to talk about tires and alignment. These cars are incredibly sensitive to suspension setup. If your alignment is out or you're running sticky, wide performance tires because you want that track day look, you're increasing rolling resistance and hurting your MPG. But here's the thing, comparing the E36 to a modern economy car is missing the point entirely. Sure, a new Corolla will get double the mileage, but it has half the soul. Every time you fill up the tank of your E36, you're paying a subscription fee for happiness. You're paying for the hydraulic steering feedback that tells you exactly what the front wheels are doing. You're paying for the sound of a naturally aspirated inline-six singing at 4,000 revolutions per minute. So is it a practical daily driver in terms of fuel economy? Absolutely not. It's outdated, inefficient, and requires premium gas. But is it worth it? If you're the kind of person who looks back at your car every time you park it, then yes, every single drop of fuel is worth it. You just need to budget for it and maybe accept that your coffee budget needs to be reallocated to the gas tank. Ultimately, the real MPG of a daily driven E36 isn't measured in miles, it's measured in smiles per gallon, as cheesy as that sounds. It's the price of admission for driving a legend, and for most of us enthusiasts, that's a price we're happily willing to pay, even if we complain about it at the pump every week.